banning directorships and pay consultancies for state members?
Well, I don't think you can ban particular types of jobs. If you're going to ban states members from having an outside job, you ban them from having an outside job. Now, when I started in the States...
well, please encompass that in the question, please.
When I started in the States, we didn't get paid. Everybody actually either worked outside, had a job outside of the States, or were a private means. But these days, the amount of work that's involved, that's almost impossible. Now, it's arguable, and it's a debate which I think will have to be had, as to whether states members should be exclusively paid for by the taxpayer, or if it's an advantage for the taxpayer to have experience of real life and working in the real economy outside. I think there's a debate to be had on that.
Okay, if there's a debate to be had, then Vicky, where do you stand?
I think you definitely need a clear regulatory regime that sets out what you can and can't do. So whether that's you can take jobs or you can't, you need rules. They need to be clear. Everybody needs to understand them. I think it's difficult to say people can't have other paid jobs because that's going to restrict the types of people who will be interested in applying for the roles of politicians. And while there's a lot of blame on politicians, you have to remember that we are going to have the people that we vote for, and there's a limited number of people who stand for politics. So whether or not we like their politics, credit to all the politicians here today who've actually bothered to get up and be prepared to throw their hat in the ring. So I think we need more people standing as politicians. I'm undecided on the second job thing, but my heart is against it. But I think we definitely need a clear regime.
Is constable a first job or a second job?
Rico,
I'd just like to see elected politicians just working for us, the people and the states, and not have a second job. So many states members come in the morning, say présent, and then they bugger off to their job. And it happens. We can't say it doesn't, because it does, you know. All they have to do in the morning is come in, say présent, and then you don't know where they are for the rest of the day. They can come back for the vote and have a vote, but most of them have got second jobs, you know, and it's a nice little, you know, it's a nice little extra wage, you know. If their other job's not pulling in the money, at least they know there's 45 grand coming in. And that might be a cynical view, but it happens. Believe you me, it happens. So, you know, I'd just like to see them work for the states.
Okay, Sam, what about that then? If there was a ban on states members doing outside work, do you think that would improve what we get?
It's tough to say, really. We know that Ed Miliband in the UK has said that he will ban Labour MPs from holding second jobs if he's in government. Ironically, the MP who would suffer the biggest drop in income from that would actually be Gordon Brown, as it happens. But if he's willing to go ahead with it and push anyway, regardless of which of his own MPs it affects, then fair enough. I'm slightly unsure on it as a blanket rule to ban holding any other job, simply because, I mean, I don't have a second job, but every now and then I will do something that may end up being something that could be commercial. I organise events for a start, and I do that every now and then. And I wouldn't like to be banned from doing that because I think I'm doing a good thing and doing it for the right reasons. So whatever rules you would have, I think would have to be thought through very well to make sure that it's really doing its purpose and not discouraging states members from doing stuff that may actually be good for the community outside, but have a commercial element of it. But regardless of that, the one thing that I'm absolutely staunch on is that if states members do have jobs outside the states, the public have a right to know that, they must declare it, and we must know, in my view, what amount of an interest they have in a company, and I think also how much money they get from that company. I think it's a fair thing to ask for states members as well. And there are some states members who are absolutely against this and who would like that regime rolled back. I think that would be a thoroughly bad thing for transparency. The public have a right to know what interest states members have.
Well, same point to you.
Yeah, we do have a declaration of interest. It's public, everybody can see who does what. When I got in 2011, I made it quite explicit that I was going to give up my role as a director of a finance company because it was in conflict with what I wanted to do, particularly with regard to the time. I couldn't put the time and effort in. And compliance was getting so difficult, I didn't want to get myself into a difficult situation, so I resigned, and I don't have a second job, and I don't have any other interests or any percentages in any companies. With regard to whether you have a blanket ban, answering the gentleman's question, I think it would be very difficult to do that. I think several members of the states coming for different reasons, and to strip them away from some of their occupations to actually inform the kind of roles that they play, I think would be very difficult. But I think once people declare their interest, there should be no conflict. So I think the public have a right to see what happens.